Now, if you ask me, we're the best sports town around. For most of us, that passion for Pittsburgh started when we were young, watching the Steelers or the Pens with our families and friends.
But youth sports, it's a whole other ball game. Brea Schmidt of the Thinking Branch and the Top Bleacher Podcast is here to talk about the highs and lows of it all. So happy to have you here, and this is a really great conversation to have because we're in the middle of spring baseball, wrapping up lacrosse for a lot of kids, starting softball. So how did you get underway with the Top Bleacher? What is it exactly?
Sure. So sports has always been a huge part of my life. My dad was a 50-year basketball referee. I played basketball and ran track all through high school. And when I look back on my own sports experience, I credit it for really shaping who I am as an adult and really as a business owner. There's so many life lessons to be learned, and I was lucky enough to have parents who kind of allowed me to do that. And now that I'm raising three humans who happen to be athletes and sitting along the modern day sidelines, we're seeing adults inserting themselves and really robbing kids of having the full experience. And I know it because even as a well-intentioned sports parent, I fall into the trap of doing that. And so I wanted to create a community and a space for conversation for parents to talk honestly about some of the missteps that we have and how we can make changes to make it a more positive environment for the kids.
And I love the name, Tell Me What Inspired It, because Top Bleacher is exactly where I sit, because I'm like, I'm too anxious to sit on the sidelines. And if I talk to myself, I'm obviously loud, she's gonna hear me. So what happened with the Top Bleacher? How'd that
Get
start?
a little view of everything too. So my grandfather was actually my first basketball coach. And when I started playing in high school, it was rare that he wasn't at a game, and he was always on the Top Bleacher. And he was somebody who was a longtime coach and had every right to be yelling things from the stands to tell me what to do, but he was just a steady presence, always there for a fist bump after the game or to give me a hug, and he would talk about the game if I wanted to. And then I became a parent, and I looked around and I thought, what if my grandfather was getting thrown out of 10-year-old basketball games because he was yelling at refs? Or if he was screaming at me for making a mistake, that relationship would have been so different. And I just think every kid deserves someone like my grandpa, who just shows up, is there for support, win or lose. And so it's a little bit of a nod to him. And also, you know, when you sit up on the Top Bleacher, you get to see everything, and that's what I want to do, is talk about all different aspects of youth sports.
Oh, I love it.
And it's those one-on-one relationships that you really focus on. And I think, too, even if it's not you as the parent or you as the adult in the room that's having the bad behavior, the kids are still witnessing it. They're witnessing it a lot at different sporting events, and so it can create those moments for you to have conversations with them about what happened and why it wasn't okay.
It's easy in the youth sports conversation to get caught up in the noise because we see all the viral videos of the terrible things happening at youth sporting events, but at the end of the day, it's really about your one-on-one relationship with your kid. All three of my kids are in sports for different reasons. They're motivated differently. They look at their sport differently. And we move so fast that it's easy sometimes to not slow down and check in with them. How are you feeling about that last game? You know, how are you feeling about your performance? Are you happy playing? Are you having a good time? What am I doing or not doing on the sideline that is helping you or not helping you? And how can I show up better for you? I think we just move so fast. Sometimes we have 15 games a weekend that we just go through the motions. And I think it starts with us at home and how we approach our kids each individually. And then hopefully that can start to trickle out to impact the environment as a whole.
Brea, I hang on every word you say every time you're here, truly. And I just think that your journey has been so relatable, specifically when it comes to your mental health advocacy. And we've talked a lot about it in the parent panel as far as giving ourselves grace as parents. But how do you now see, as being on the sidelines and as a mental health advocate, how these two worlds do often come together and clash?
The youth sports environment is high pressure and high intensity for 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds because parents are on the sidelines elevating that energy, and we're expecting kids to handle that, yet we can't even handle it on the sidelines. And so we have to make sure that in this era of focusing on performance and winning, and listen, I'm competitive. I believe that we should be working on that too, that we also have to be helping our kids develop the tools necessary to handle the ups and downs of sports. And oh, by the way, take care of ourselves as well as sports parents so that we can model that for them.
So we can show up the best version of ourselves when we need to be there for them. Really great stuff. Certainly something to check out. We're so glad you joined us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, please.
We're going to link you up to the Top Bleacher. You want to check this out. And the Thinking Branch, that's her other platform, on our website, kdka.com/talkpittsburgh.